how's the calendar affected website traffic? And was there a change after they promoted the calendar?
Yep. So turning on the calendar right away within a day, the events started to rank in Google and traffic started to come in through the back door on SEO searches. So Salem City Council meetings, Salem events, whatever.
Welcome to the Paywall Podcast, where we discuss paywalls and paywall strategies for news and magazine publishers. This episode of the Paywall Podcast is brought to you by Leaky Paywall. Leaky Paywall is the most flexible WordPress subscription platform. Find out more at leakypaywall.com. And now for today's episode.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the local calendar function on Salem Reporter. So the question is, what has the impact been on Salem Reporter since the calendar's been running? And how long has this calendar been on here?
This calendar has been on for maybe 2 months at this point. This is February 26th, 2025. So 2 months of this.
2 months.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So right around Christmas, I believe, is when this was turned on. So the immediate impact internally.
Wait. Yep. Next question. How many events have been posted in 2 months, roughly? Or
from individuals or just overall?
Let's just say through our automation first.
At any given day, there's around 1,000 events on the site. So
okay,
I would say there's around 200 plus per day that get updated and added. So how many of them are brand new? Maybe 25 to 50.
Okay, so 25 to 50 new events per day, roughly.
Per day. Mm-hmm. And of course, there are hundreds more that get updated throughout each update. So maybe a location change, maybe a event description change, maybe an image change for promotion from the source. So there's constant adjustment updates for existing events. So as you can see in this, you can see that second event says rescheduled. So that event has been adjusted because, so it's constantly re-pulling the same events over and over to make sure there's no.
Okay. Yep. And then, so it's finding the same event, seeing that there's a new time.
It's looking for all new content. So the things that mainly stay the same, like if you get into the text side of it, are the links from the source.
Yep.
But everything else can change. The title could change, the date could change, the location can change, the image can change, all of it can change. Right. And after that happens, it just updates and it doesn't create duplicate events.
That's awesome. Yep. So this reschedule event is obviously been updated because it's at a different time. Mm-hmm. And that gets pulled in. That's fantastic. I assume you don't have any data on how many events get updated per day.
Yeah, hold on. I don't know to what extent it updates. Like they all get updated, but how many of them are actually getting updated? Changing. That part I don't quite know. We'd have to look deep into the logs to see exactly what happens. But I would say around 10%, 5% probably.
Okay.
Maybe on the 5% side get changed like on a daily basis. Something changes somewhere. So, okay.
I'll say updated with changes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the total number, can you see the total number of events that have been published since 2 months ago?
Boy, let me take a look. So just so you know, when the events come in, after they end, we automatically delete them so that the publisher doesn't have 20 gajillion events that are forever hosted until eternity, because from an SEO perspective, Google doesn't really care after the date passes, from what I've found.
Right.
They don't really want that data anyway. As far as how many events have landed since,
would you say 1 month?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, 2 months. We'll do 1 month. Just a moment. I would say that's a difficult question to answer.
Okay. So how far back does the event data live now? 2 months?
It goes back as far as each event, like as it occurs, it drops off.
Oh, it gets just deleted once it's actually drops off.
That's right. Yeah. Once it's stale, we don't keep it in the system anymore, because otherwise Salem would have like probably thousands of events. So in that case, probably I would say thousands of events have been imported in the last 2 months.
Yeah. If you're running 50 events a day times 30 days, that's 1,500 right there.
Yeah.
2 months, that's 3,000. If it's half of that, if it's actually only 25 events per day, then that's 1,500 events that have been posted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And this all is based on what the publisher needs, which sources they need to pull from. So it could be way more. In the case of Salem's only pulling from a few sources to get to that. Yeah.
So you could plumb in more sources if you need.
You could get nuts with this. Yeah.
Really get granular with all the
yeah.
But no requests from them. Hey, let's get some more events.
So what I did, and this was before having a third-party helper on the extraction side, I just went through and searched every event. Like I just typed in Salem events and went through all the sites. And then I checked to see where they are. Are they on Facebook? Are they on, where are these people? Is Salem, where's the city of Salem posting? Where are these events? And it seemed like this batch of, let's say, 5 sources covered what seemed like the majority of the events in the community. And there's still quite a few that aren't on there. There's like local schools and other things, but Salem wanted to focus on like city government and events in the community. So that was a priority for them, versus a trillion middle school events and basketball events and things like that would just blow your calendar off the charts. So,
which could be its own separate event calendar, really.
It most certainly could.
Yeah. Okay. Now, here's another question. The ability to post your own event showed up on the calendar, I think from day 1, right?
It did, day 1.
Okay. And any sense for how many events have been added manually from locals at this point? And
I would say 50 plus at least.
50 plus. And just to give it a little context, this calendar was essentially turned on, not promoted in any way. Or was it promoted by Salem Reporter?
This wasn't promoted until probably about a month ago, like formally through their newsletter to their audience. We were pushing this data in through a backdoor on a page that wasn't promoted, and just to make sure it all worked.
Of course, that makes total sense. So it's a soft launch for 30 days, and then it's promoted, and then 30 days later. Was there let's talk a little bit about traffic. Was there a difference? 2 questions. How's the traffic behaved or affected? How's the calendar affected website traffic? And was there a change after they promoted the calendar?
Yep. So turning on the calendar right away, within a day, the events started to rank in Google and traffic started to come in through the back door on SEO searches. So Salem City Council meetings, Salem events, whatever. Salem Reporter was outranking a lot of the sites we were pulling from.
That's amazing.
And partly because of the AI that we're using to help format and clean up the mess that is every calendar on the internet and pulling it into a format that's readable and digestible into WordPress, into an events calendar system. So yes, they were seeing like, I don't know. Let me just pull it up and we'll just go through that together. But it was certainly a noticeable shift in traffic, or at least a noticeable gain in traffic. Let me just, I'm going to pull up this.
Do you have a kind of a guesstimate in terms of?
Yep.
Much?
Yeah. I'm going to do the last 12 months, but I only need the last couple of months. There we go. All right. So overall, is this internal just for us, or does it matter?
Yeah, we can edit as needed.
Okay. So since they turned it on, around 16,000 page views have been attributed to the event universe, whether it's the main events calendar page or an event link, like /event link. With the vast majority coming direct, which is nuts, and also through Google, with the events calendar main page being the hot page for people at this point.
Right. The homepage. When you say majority is direct traffic, what does that mean?
People coming to Salem directly. Just they've gone to salem.com.
And it's finding the event button.
They're just clicking on events in the menu.
Got it.
Yeah.
Great. Hey, what's going on?
Okay. Yeah. And then number 2 would be Google, like by a long shot. They're like the.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And with that, really quick, just a little nugget of data here. 4% bounce rate on that events based pages. So the bounce rate is just people see this stuff and they browse around.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was looking at the UV here calendar, and even though there's not a ton of traffic on there, the average visit looks at over 4 pages, 4 events, essentially. So people want to know what other events are going on.
They love it. They don't stop at one. They see that you've got one and they're like, wait a minute, I wonder if they've got more. And then they meander around. And the same is happening with the Hello Morgantown site. People find it and they're like, wait a minute, this is better than the university's calendar. It's better than this other calendar. And it's all in one spot. Ah, great. I can just use this. Let me just use this. And that's, I think, partly why we're seeing like an uptick in ranking on that site to the first page of Google.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you tell if certain categories are getting hit on Salem more than others?
Categories of like event types?
Yeah, event types.
Yeah.
Back here and drop down the category list. So we have a variety of categories here, which covers, I think, the majority of types of events. Go look at food and drink.
Let me put a wild card in the search and I'll see.
And then you get whatever events are coming up for that category.
I'll have to check on how to find that data, but no, I don't know which one's most popular.
Okay, that's fine. Just curious.
Yeah.
Just curious. And then, okay, so as far as traffic goes, do you have a sense of the percentage of extra traffic that the calendar is generated
Yes.
versus the traffic on the site without having a calendar?
Yes. So let me give you a quick update on that. Boy, Salem's traffic has ballooned this month, up 30%. So let me just take a look at where that traffic is. Yeah, Salem's had some like ice storms and winter storms and like flooding and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So let me just put in there. / events dash out there. At this point, it's probably less than 1% of overall traffic.
Okay.
Earlier in the month, it was higher because their traffic overall was lower.
Yeah.
They had some like ginormous stories that just rocketed their analytics to almost 1 million page views. So,
yeah. Okay.
But depending on like normal traffic, they can see 5%, sometimes more than that, of overall traffic coming from the events calendar.
Huh.
So
less than 1% to 5%, depending a variety of variation.
Yeah. Again, it really depends on if you don't have breaking news and have a surge of
regular traffic.
Offsetting the two before, like in December and January, when there wasn't a lot of breaking news, they were seeing closer to the 5% mark.
Right. Now, okay, so that's interesting. So the other thing, which is a bit of a variable and kind of affects this data, makes it a little murkier, is that there's the ability to subscribe to event notifications. And then any of that kind of traffic may go to an event, but also may go off to regular news as well.
Right.
Do we have any feel for our people signing up for notifications?
They are. And there's been no promotion of this. I haven't actually even mentioned this feature to Salem yet. They let me guinea pig a lot. Les is really kind in that way. If you're looking at this is a new website for Salem, whoever's internally looking at this video, they are really good about letting us guinea pig new things. As far as how many people have signed up for different event lists, I'd say each one of those lists on average has about 15 people.
Okay.
So 15 times whatever you see there. And again, there's been zero promotion. This is the only spot on the site you can sign up to an event, email, newsletter. And boy, do people open these event newsletters. So the average open rate is north of 60% on all of them. So some of them 72%, 64%, 52%, 73%. Like people open them religiously, even though it's only a small 15 people in those lists.
Yeah. So you have a little somewhere north of 150 people have signed up for a category notification.
That's right. With zero promotion at the bottom of the page, hard to find. Yeah.
That's pretty good for 2 months and no promotion. And these are locals who want the news on a specific topic, and they're getting it potentially on a daily basis.
They are. Yeah. Most of these calendars, these lists send out almost daily. I don't for the most part, they're getting a daily dose regardless of the category. And this particular function's only been live for about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks at this point. So it's not.
Oh, the newsletter category?
Yeah, it's not quite as.
Okay. All right. So three weeks. That's not very long. Okay.
Yeah.
And no promotion. Okay. Hard to extrapolate that, but it sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
And you just have all that extra traffic going back to the site.
Yeah. And that's where the AI magic comes into play here, because it's sorting the content, putting it in the correct category. And then because we know the category, then we can send out automated newsletters to specific event desires from the audience.
That's fantastic. And we haven't something on the roadmap I know is advertising. So featured events.
Yeah.
We haven't tackled that. We have the featured event function in production. It'll be ready probably in the next month or two. And that'll give those that submit events the ability to pay and have the event immediately posted instead of going into moderation, which the free events do. And then that immediate posting will be flagged as featured on the site as well.
Yeah. So think of it as a sticky event or
sticky event.
That's the old school forum advertising that would go to the top of a sticky thread. And I think that's what we're thinking as far as like where that data will land on any given category.
Yep. No, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know that works. I've been talking, we did this ourselves with UV here 10 years ago. And like King Arthur Flower was looking to advertise. But I also recently talked to a publisher and we had a very specific conversation about this. I won't mention who they are, but they built an events calendar for a very dense, urban, populated area. And they were absolutely selling featured events. But this was years ago. There was no AI. The whole process was completely manual and it fell apart because it was just too much data. It was just too much work putting it together.
Yeah. Now we have the opposite kind of, the more data, the better. Bring us as much as you can and there's no issue with the sorting part. We just need to find a reliable source. That's the key for this system to work.
Yeah. That's what we need now. We need curation is essentially what we're doing. Curating events and
because even Facebook's not enough to do it all. They're close. They do. I'd say in most communities, like they'll get you 70% of the way there, but there's still 30%, which I would consider the gold in the community. It's not on Facebook that they're looking for, that publishers need and want. And so at some point we'll look through the data and see which events Salem is getting eyeballs on to verify that claim. But I'm almost certain that like most of the event views are coming from the stuff that you can't find on Facebook easily.
For sure. Yeah. I just think locally here and Facebook is picking up a bunch of stuff, but they're not touching any town hall stuff.
No,
they're not. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't get submitted that they don't pick up. That's music or restaurant events there's just so much going on. I had a friend of mine who was like, oh, I see Cub Scout events are showing up on because it's coming from Facebook. Somebody's been submitting local Cub Scout events. Okay, or Boy Scout events, and that's great. But not everybody's doing that.
Yeah, and that's the goal with these calendars is to let's get to 90% coverage, and then that 10% gap can be the event submissions that aren't anywhere on the web, or they're not posted anywhere, they're not promoted quite well on Facebook or whatever, and you'll see that with Salem. Like Salem did no promotion on that little submit event link at the very bottom of the calendar, and people still find it. It's like people will find that button. They don't care. They want their event to be on this calendar, and then Salem will approve it. To make sure it's legit.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's not even in the drop down, is it?
No, it needs to be. We're gonna add it there. We're mainly testing the form and making sure that it all works.
Cool. All right. So last question. Have you gotten any feedback from Salem about the event calendar?
Other than just the amount of time that they're saving. That was like the biggest. Like when we launched this, they were just like, oh my gosh, you can have this done without us having to do it. That's great. And they still write stories about events, like the editor and the publisher or whatever, they still publish event-based articles. But now they have a library of data that they can draw upon and say, oh yeah, this is happening, great, done. And they can add their editorial flair to the event that is in their calendar.
That's true. That's true. It's just content that's showing up for them.
Yeah. So they like it in the sense that it's saving them time. Their audience likes it. It doesn't cost them a fortune to do, and the time savings that their editor and writers, they can do other things than trying to keep up with what the heck's going on in the community. So
I don't really have to do anything except for moderate the free listing.
And they do that. They pop into WordPress and on a daily basis, kick through them real quick. So not a big deal.
Save them a lot of time putting it together. I just turned off my ad blocker so you can see that there are ads running on the site. So more traffic to the website, which means more ad impressions. And then people subscribing via email to continue to drive more traffic to the site. SEO value, getting found in search, driving to the site, capturing the email list. So building your email list, another benefit. Soon to come paid feature events. Did I miss anything? That's pretty good.
Yeah, It's a lot. Yeah.
Cool. All right. This interview's over.
I'm out of here.
That's awesome. All right. Cool. Thank you, Tyler.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Paywall Podcast. If you'd like to get in touch to discuss subscription strategy, go to leakypaywall.com. See you next time.